Muzan Kibutsuji was born during Japan's Heian era and struggled constantly with poor health. His heart stopped several times while he was still in the womb, and when he was finally born, he showed no pulse or breath and was pronounced stillborn. As his body was being carried for cremation, he suddenly cried out, narrowly escaping death. Throughout his youth, Muzan suffered from constant illness and developed an intense fear of dying. As a young man, he was diagnosed with a terminal disease and told he wouldn't live to see the age of 20. Desperate to survive, he sought help from a doctor who treated him with an experimental medicine. At first, it seemed to fail. Frustrated and enraged, Muzan killed the doctor in anger over his worsening condition. Soon after, he realized the treatment had actually started to work. His body grew stronger and his health returned, but at a terrible cost. He discovered that he now needed to consume human flesh to survive, and that sunlight would burn him instantly, reducing him to ash. Horrified by the thought of living eternally in darkness, he regretted killing the doctor before the treatment was complete. Through research, he learned that the medicine contained a rare ingredient known as the blue spider lily. Muzan became convinced this flower could remove his weakness to sunlight. He spent years searching for it across Japan, unaware that it bloomed only during the day for just a few days each year. Consumed by his obsession with walking under the sun, Muzan considered himself incomplete despite his immense power. His fixation would define the next 1,000 years of his existence. When his hunt for the blue spider lily failed, he began creating other demons using his own blood, hoping one might either find the flower or evolve resistance to sunlight. If any demon succeeded, Muzan planned to consume them to obtain their immunity and achieve perfect immortality. In his early years as a demon, Muzan married 5 women. However, his lack of empathy and cruelty drove each of them to despair, and all 5 ultimately took their own lives. Later, Muzan met Tamayo, a young woman suffering from a terminal illness. Wanting to live long enough to see her children grow, she allowed Muzan to turn her into a demon. But unable to control her new instincts, she killed her family and others in her bloodlust. Overcome with guilt and hatred for Muzan, she continued to follow him, bound by fear and unable to defy him due to his overwhelming power. Sometime later, Muzan encountered Michikatsu Tsugikuni, a skilled demon slayer and user of moon-breathing. Michikatsu feared the short lifespan caused by the demon slayer mark and longed to surpass his younger brother. Muzan offered him a solution: immortality in exchange for his loyalty. Michikatsu accepted, receiving a large dose of Muzan's blood and transforming into the demon known as Kokushibo. Not long after, Muzan and Tamayo crossed paths with Michikatsu's twin brother, Yoriichi Tsugikuni, the strongest demon slayer to ever live. Yoriichi immediately sensed Muzan's overwhelming malice, describing it as something akin to boiling magma. Muzan, however, felt no threat from Yoriichi and attacked without warning. Yoriichi effortlessly evaded Muzan's strikes and, using the transparent world, discovered the demon's greatest secret. His body contained 7 hearts and 5 brains that moved freely within him. Combining all of his techniques into a single strike, Yoriichi ignited his Nichiren sword bright red and sliced through every one of Muzan's vital points. Wounded beyond recovery, Muzan lay defeated in his own blood. As Yoriichi prepared to end him, Muzan detonated his own body, scattering it into 1,800 fragments. Yoriichi destroyed nearly all of them, but around 300 escaped and merged into a small lump of flesh from which Muzan regenerated. The encounter left Muzan deeply shaken. From that day forward, he hunted down every user of sun breathing to prevent another warrior like Yoriichi from appearing. Traumatized by his near-death experience, he never again confronted the demon slayers directly, instead relying on his subordinates to fight for him. His fear of Yoriichi lingered even long after the swordsman's death. Years later, Muzan learned of a massacre in which 67 people were killed. Intrigued, he went to investigate and found the culprit, an 18-year-old human named Hakuji. When Hakuji tried to fight back, Muzan easily overpowered him and offered to turn him into a demon. With nothing left to live for, Hakuji accepted and became a Kaza. Over time, Muzan created his elite force known as the 12 Kizuki, composed of the strongest demons under his control. He transformed numerous humans, granting greater amounts of his blood to those he deemed worthy. The 12 Kizuki were divided into upper and lower ranks. While the upper ranks remained stable and loyal for more than a century, the lower ranks frequently perished at the hands of demon slayers, much to Muzan's frustration. Among the demons personally created by Muzan were Kokushibo, Akaza, Doma, Hantengu, Gyoko, Rui, Ubume, and Enmu, whom he initially intended to devour before deciding to transform him instead. Muzan later allowed upper-rank demons to create followers of their own, as long as they received his approval. Other known members included the siblings Gyutaro and Daki, the manipulative Nakime, and the disgraced Kyogai. As part of his ongoing experiments, Muzan also injected random civilians with his blood, hoping that one might develop resistance to sunlight. Many died instantly as their bodies were destroyed by the power of his blood. Others survived, but lost their sanity, becoming violent or feral. One tragic case was Shizu Shinazugawa, a mother of 7 who killed 5 of her children before being slain by her eldest son, Sanemi. During the Taisho era, Muzan discovered the Kamado family, who practiced the Hinokami Kagura, a dance descended from sun-breathing. When the eldest son, Tanjiro Kamado, was away, Muzan attacked and infused the family with his blood in another attempt to create a demon capable of surviving sunlight. Believing the experiment had failed when the family died, he left the scene, unaware that one child, Nezuko Kamado, had survived and transformed into a demon. And that's the complete history of Muzan Kibutsuji, from a dying man in the Heian era to the first demon who ruled from the shadows for 1,000 years. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more deep dives into Demon Slayer lore, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what part of Muzan's story fascinated you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.